Right, so in this question for biology paper 2 presentation, we are going to revise transport system and dentition. So the first question is saying figure 1.0 shows the pathway taken by water through a plant. Okay, so we also have a key here with an arrow indicating the direction of water molecules, which is the movement of water molecules. Okay, so we have this structure here which is called the root air cell. Also have cells R, the xylem which transport water, cell P and cell Q, and the entire thing here is represented by a what? A leaf, or is representing a leaf. Okay, so let's start with the first question, which is saying state the names of the labeled structures P, Q, and R. So we have P. So as for P, this cell here is called a palisade cell. And usually a palisade cell is located beneath, or we can say below, the upper epidermis. That is where it is located. So this one is D. Then when it comes to Q, okay, Q is this one here, this cell here. So Q is called the guard cell. And usually the guard cell or guard cells are located around the stoma or stomatopause. Okay. And then as for the last one, which is R, so as for R, these cells, so usually they are just starting from this point here and ending at this point. So these, they are called the root cortex cells. So we can say root cortex cells. That is the name. So these are the names of the structures labeled P, Q, and R. So now let's try to look at the functions of these now. So when it comes to the palisade cell, we can say it is the site where the process of photosynthesis takes place. So when I use the term site, I'm talking about the place. So site is same as the place. So the site for photosynthesis. And then as for the guard cell or guard cells, so guard cells, they maximize and minimize the size of the stoma or the stomata. So that's a function, to minimize and maximize the size of the stoma or stomata. Then when it comes to the root cortex cells, there is water to the xylem. As you can see here, once the root air cell absorbs water, due to the process of osmosis, these root cortex cells, they are going to pass water into the xylem vessel. So those are the functions or the function. Let's see the next question. Okay, so it is saying explain the adaptation of the structure labeled P to its function. So structure labeled P, this one here is called the palisade cell. And when you talk of the adaptation or adaptations, you need to talk of the features which are going to enable the specific specialized cell to perform its function. So in this case here, the palisade cells or palisade cell, they contain the abundance of chloroplast or high content of chloroplast. That high content of chloroplast enables them to carry out the process of photosynthesis. So we can just say the presence or high presence of chloroplast or chlorophyll for the process of photosynthesis. That is the answer. Then as for question B, Roman numeral number 1, it is saying explain two differences between xylem and phloem. So xylem is this tube here, which is transporting the water molecules. So usually the differences between the xylem and the phloem, you need to talk about what they transport. So we are going to say the xylem transports water and mineral salts, while phloem transport manufactured food or manufactured foods, that is sucrose and amino acids. So that is the first difference. In the xylem, that is where now the transport of water and the mineral salts takes place. When it comes to the phloem, this one is just the tube or vessel where manufactured foods are transported or are translocated. These manufactured foods include the sucrose and amino acids. Okay? Then the next one, let's talk about how now how they transport these substances. When it comes to the xylem transport water and mineral salts on one direction, meaning upward only. Then when it comes to the phloem, this phloem transport manufactured foods up and down, depending on where the storage organ is located. So that is the differences in terms of how they transport. So we are going to say xylem transport water molecules and mineral salts on one direction, while phloem transport or translocate manufactured foods up and down, depending on where the storage organ is located. So those are the differences between the xylem and the phloem. And usually the xylem and the phloem, these are found in the vesicular bundles. And in the vesicular bundles, that is where now the transport system takes place. Let's see the next question. It is saying, state two examples of specialized cells in animals. So the first one, we can talk of the white blood cells or white blood cell. Then, apart from the white blood cell or white blood cells, we can also include the red blood cells. Okay? Then apart from the red blood cells, we can also include the nerve cells or the neuron or neurons. Then apart from the neuron or the nerve cells, we can also include the muscle cell and so on. So you can just choose from these. Then let's see the next question. So this one is coming from dentition. And when you talk of dentition, you're talking about the arrangement and the number or total number of teeth in an animal. So the question is saying figure 2.0 shows a section through a tooth. We have structures A, B, and C. And the first question is saying name the type of tooth in figure 2.0 shown above. So what type of tooth is this one? So this one is called the molar. Okay, that is the name. When you talk of the premolar has only one root. So these extensions, they are called the roots. Okay, so these are called the roots. Then as for the next question, it is saying state the names of the structures labeled A, B, and C. So let's start with A. So as for A, this one is called the enamel, the hardest part of the tooth, which is A. So this A is called the enamel. Then as for B, this one is called the dentine. That is the name. Then the last one, which is C, it is called the nerve end. Or we can just say the nerve. They are just the same. So now let's try to look at the function of these structures. Let's start with the enamel. So the function of the enamel is to protect the inside cells from the external environment, meaning the enamel protects the dentine, pulpy cavity, nerve ends, and so on. That's the function, and it is the hardest part of the tooth, the enamel. Followed by B, which is called the dentine. So the dentine links the pulpy cavity to the enamel. So it's more like a link. It links the pulpy cavity to the enamel. Then the last one, the nerve end. So the nerve end detects the stimulus. Okay. So immediately you are going to have, or immediately the tooth start decaying, you are going to feel the pain because of the nerves. They are going to send the impulses to the brain. So they detect the stimulus or the stimuli. Then as for Roman numeral number 3, it is saying state 2 reasons why this tooth can't be a canine tooth. 2 marks. Usually we have 4 types of teeth. The first one is called the molar, followed by the premolar, the incisors, and the canine. So now let's give them the reasons why this one is called the molar instead of being called the canine. So usually the canine, it has 1 root, and this one here, it has how many roots? 2 roots. So we are just going to say because it has 2 roots, these extensions, they are called the roots. Then apart from that one, this is because it is bigger in size compared to the canine. So the canine is just smaller in size and it has only 1 root. So those are the reasons why this one is considered to be the molar instead of the canine. The canine is smaller in size compared to this molar. Then as for the last one, Roman numeral number 4, it is saying state 2 ways of maintaining health tooth. Or let me just say teeth. So the first one, we can just say by brushing tooth after the meal using the toothpaste or fluoride. And apart from that one, you can also include by avoiding the consumption or excess consumption of sugars and sweets. So that was the last one. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Peace.